Have you guys ever? So somebody at work, they were talking about this with their team. Somebody that's a manager at work, and they were talking about this thing called 16 personalities. Have you ever heard of that? It's like 16personalities.com.
I haven't.
No.
It's like a little questionnaire you go through. It may take like 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes to do. And it's one of those like, do you strongly agree, disagree, neutral, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you go through it, and when you're done, it'll give you like a personality type. Very neat. I don't really buy into that kind of stuff, but anyway, after she was telling me about it, I was like, oh, I'll go do it. And after I got done doing it, I remembered I had done it before for another job because it made me log into an account. And as soon as I put my email in, it brought up the other test that I did about 4 or 5 years ago, but it gave me the same exact results. So I was like, I mean, it's got to be true. But so my personality is called the protagonist.
Okay. All right. Explain this.
Yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's the one of the rarest. Here, I'm gonna find it real quick right here. It's one of the rarest personality types, and I mean, do you know who else is some famous people that are protagonists?
No.
Barack Obama.
I usually put you two in the same sentence, so that
yeah.
Makes sense so far.
I'm not sure who else besides Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. That's it, and just me and him.
You and Barack.
Very exclusive club. Just two of us.
You guys should do it. I'm really interested just to see what it says for you guys. So the last thing we ended on, it looked like, was that show in Montgomery at that festival where it was really hot.
Yeah.
And let's see. So that would have put us like that Saturday. I guess that would have been the 30th of September. And then since we were at home, we probably stayed in Phoenix City. I don't know why this says monkey on here. Not really sure what that means. Does it say monkey or Monday? I'm not sure.
No, it looks like monkey.
It says monkey.
I don't know what that means.
I know I forgot a lot of stuff, but I would remember a monkey.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Maybe it's something Donna didn't want to forget, and she's like, "Let me write that down before I forget that." Monkey. Maybe we'll have to get her on here because that's got to mean something to her, I'm sure.
Make a note of that, and then look, we got to revisit this one with her. Like, okay, listen, what were you talking about?
I'll see her this weekend, so I'll ask her about it. But so we were probably home that whole week, that first part of October, and then on the 6th, October 6th, we played in Greensboro. I guess that's North Carolina.
Yeah.
At the Jam Cafe. Anybody remember that at all?
Not even close.
Greensboro, South Carolina or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
I don't know. I don't remember that at all.
Well, I'm gonna
Jam Cafe.
Consult the internets here.
Now this is the one. This is the show at the Art that we had the video really because then we went to Myrtle Beach afterwards. So this is the one that has the YouTube video.
Yeah. That Saturday. Yeah, Saturday the 7th. Yeah, we did play the Ark in Wilmington, North Carolina. Yep. With the Combat Junkies. You wonder how those guys are doing now. I remember playing with those guys a good bit.
Yeah. I cannot remember who that was. I remember like that was Combat Junkies. Man,
I know. It's been a long time, but
I can't remember what they sound like, but I remember being like, oh, that's cool. They're playing.
See, that's why we're doing this together because I can't remember this stuff. I was hoping you guys would remember all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm blanked out completely on Jam Cafe. I of course remember the Arc, and it looks like looking through this month, there's a lot of stuff here that I do remember. It's a pretty busy
That was a
month.
busy month, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Combat Junkies: Adam Weeks, Brian Thornton, and Kevin Bordeaux. Looks like they've got a couple albums out that they did. The War Inside and Fight or Die. Time to Make the Choice. Clumsy Records and Steel Roots Records. That Steel Roots Records does sound familiar. And they also had an EP they did called The Revolution. Combat Junkies. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, what was Steel Roots? That sounds very familiar as well.
Yeah.
All right. So that was probably a good show there at the Arc.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm pretty sure we have some of them playing too on that video. So I'll go back through and make sure. But I'm pretty sure this whole show is out there on YouTube and the internet's out there. So then after that show at the Arc, was there anything else at that show? So so this is going to be our fourth episode of this. And I know I'm really bad about it, but man, I'm really trying because I want to be able to come back and listen to these episodes, in a few years and just remember stuff. So I'm trying not to go too fast with some of this, just in case there's any little thing we want to remember or mention. But
yeah,
I do remember at the Arc. I don't know if we talked about it a whole lot, but they would, just like a lot of venues we talked about, they would basically, after the show, after they cleaned up, they would say, "Okay, you guys have it's yours for the night," basically. And
space now.
Yeah. And I remember some of these places, and the Arc is always the number one I think of, and they're like, "Hey, help yourself to any snacks,
yeah,
or drinks or anything." And we, I'm sure in those at the beginning we were a little shy on that kind of stuff, but I remember this wasn't the first time the Arc had said that to us, so we're like, "All right, and,
Said that.
yeah, yeah,
it was cool to be in the place after everybody leaves. It's closed. It's late at night, and it's you got this big place, pool tables, and we had fun. Especially probably this tour, we would have probably had more fun at that show. I think I remember really having fun afterwards because we weren't wore out yet. After a couple weeks of this, then you just crash.
Oh yeah, this was
But that night would have been we were still pretty fresh, and after the show when everybody leaves and it locks down, I mean it's probably after midnight, and then we actually have the place to ourselves. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And we played this place, a few times, so it's kind of hard to remember exactly what we did there because I remember playing some other times too there, and with Jesse and Rockers, and I remember playing music all night long and practicing and things like that. But I think at this point we were probably we probably just went to sleep. I don't know, but yeah, that was I do remember that was a good show, and we do have the video out there if anybody wants to see that show and us just being goofy afterwards, just hanging out. So, and then the next day we traveled to Slacker. We had this on video too, and I think this is the one where we did a little tour of Slacker,
showcasing their facility.
Yeah, and so if anybody's kind of curious what Slacker 77 looked like or looks like, go watch that video. It's got it shows the venue, shows the outside, the venue from the outside. It shows the inside where we would sleep with the little mattresses on the floor, shows the shower, get the whole experience there. So, and Jeff Weathers, he's the one that would put on those shows at Slacker. A really good guy. He was also really good friends with Vic Kuchia, which was the first band that me and Ben were in, that Chrome Donuts. Vic, he ran DTS Records, which also had Hope's Fall and Whitman's Mold and the Skedaddles, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, the skedaddles are involved. But we had played at Slacker a few times, and Vic was looking for some bands, and Jeff, I guess, had reached out to Vic and told him that he should check out the Chrome Donuts because he was looking for something kind of like that, some little pop punk there. So, anyway, kind of neat how all those things work together. So then that was a Sunday at Slacker. What, Ben?
Jeff still operates the Facebook page for Slacker 77 that I look at a lot of times. There's some crazy stuff. People put some, there was not too long ago a flyer somebody found, just a paper flyer that had one of the Chrome Donut shows on it that somebody had posted on there.
Well, that's cool.
There's some cool pictures though, and you can kind of get a feel for what the place was like, back then looking through these pictures. So yeah, it's just Slacker. It's just called Slacker 77. It's a Facebook group. Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, it's neat.
Check that out.
Then the next day, on that Monday, we end up driving to Greenville, South Carolina, to Powerhouse.
Man, I don't remember that at all. Greenville.
You don't remember Powerhouse? That's that one where that. I was kidding. I don't know either. I don't remember that.
Not the one with Beanbag or what was that?
Not the one with Beanbag Chris.
Oh well, then then forget it.
I noticed that's a Monday and that it has a M/L
meal and lodging.
You can sleep here, but we're not going to give you any money.
Yeah, it was a Monday, so we just somewhere to let us stay the night and give us some food for the next day. But man, Powerhouse, that sounds familiar, but I just cannot remember Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, I keep looking these up like as we go through, just to see if there's anything on them. Powerhouse.
So if anybody does listen to these podcast episodes and you have any information that you want to share, just send us an email or message us on Facebook, and we would appreciate it.
I mean, there's a Powerhouse gym in Greenville, South Carolina. Did we play a gym?
You never know.
You never know. No, I don't see anything on there.
Yeah, there's nothing in the book about it either. Just directions. Powerhouse, man. Okay.
Well.
Oh, well. So the next show after that Tuesday, the 10th, we play Zoo Fest. It's called Zoo Fest 2000 in Ashbury College in Kentucky. I
do remember that show.
Yeah.
That was, I remember going, it was like upstairs at that school that Matt and Cliff and Garrett all went to.
So we do have video of this too, and I bet we have video of Powerhouse. If we have video of Myrtle Beach and Ashbury, I bet somewhere in there's probably some video.
There probably is.
Is this? I wonder if that was where.
I remember the Powerhouse show now.
Was it Rod Laver?
Yes.
Okay, we do have video of that show. Yep.
I remember pulling up and seeing those guys there.
What was the place like?
Well, Ben, we played there with Chrome Donuts a few times before. We played with Stave Saker and Cody Hook there.
Okay, kind of a brick.
Yeah, it's
building. You kind of enter on the side.
I think it was a church.
Yeah, part of a church.
Part of a church. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do have video of that now. I remember that.
Is that
and was Beanbag there? No, I was kidding.
Did we stay in a hotel that night that was an old creepy like haunted hotel, or am I getting that mixed up with something else?
Yeah, that's something. That was October, but that was October of like.
Was that the same
the year before? No. Not at all. No.
You're getting two things confused.
Yeah. No, you're talking about that was the first tour we did as Chrome Donuts. Me, you, and Matt. Or the second tour.
What about this Ashbury College? Where did we stay that night? Do you remember that, Chris?
We probably stayed with Matt. His parents lived close by, and I remember staying at his place a few times. I think Cliff had a room down like on their like basement level and a really big bathroom, and they would kind of give us that room because it would had its own bathroom, and we everyone could shower. And
yeah.
I remember Matt's parents were always really cool with us, and made sure we had food. And
there was a couple of places like that where you had like some road parents that would take care of you.
Yeah, you clean laundry, doing the laundry and eating well, eating home cooked food, and so we always had a good stop there with those guys.
Who is the? It was also Kentucky where there's another Matt that we knew in Kentucky.
Yes,
not on this show.
That was like he was in Somerset, Kentucky, I think, or right around Somerset.
Okay, because I think I'm thinking of the place we stayed. One of the times where we went to play for him, there was like a church or something that we stayed in the church building itself overnight. It was like a.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Empty, little small, like empty church in the middle of the woods, like sleep on a pew.
We didn't play
Matt
there.
Davis or something.
Yeah, that was in Matt Davis. Yeah. That was Kentucky too.
That was Kentucky, but it wasn't this.
I want to say it's like around Somerset, Kentucky, somewhere near there at least.
Kristen was with us on that too. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
But that Zoo Fest, of course, we played with Eustace, and oh man, what was it? 7?
Okay. Yeah.
Were they like a metal band or something? I can't remember. Seventh Vision. Yeah.
Yeah. They were on Screaming Giant as well.
Okay. They had. It was like. Was it like a college? Yeah, I guess it was a college festival. They were doing something with the college there, and they had like those. It was like a blow up type deal with the like not jousting, but what do you call it? Where you have you try to knock each other off of the
like the sumo sticks or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I think it was where you would actually hit each other with the.
Like a big inflatable arena thing to get in and have the sticks and try to knock each other off pedestals.
Yeah, because I remember Matt and Cliff being pretty aggressive on that thing. Brothers, fighting. I think we have that on video too. We've got a lot of that on video. So I do remember like the loading and the unloading for some reason at that show. No, we do. Okay, so we do have us playing. We have video of us playing at the show too. I remember playing "Reach for Light" was our last song that we played.
Where do you have all this video somewhere?
Yeah. It's gonna be out there on YouTube pretty soon. I have it. I probably could bring it up if you just want to see just a second of it right now. Let's see. I'm going to put this up here and I'll show you this screen real quick here.
I watched a little bit of that ARC show that you put on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, we opened with Peace of Mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It was like, let's get that one out of the way.
It sounded good. I was like,
oh, did it?
That's cool. I was like, that was a pretty good opener. Yep, that looks about right.
So when you watch some of these videos like this, do you just remember like, man, I remember how I felt right there. Like you were in a certain, I'm not saying necessarily this video, but some of these videos where you're like, can you remember your mindset?
Or vaguely.
Like, sometimes maybe somebody said something to you before you got on stage or, Yeah, it's weird.
I've had the shows where, I mean, and we can go into this. This is for another week, but honestly, most of the time when I got up there, I had to really think about what I was doing because I was so nervous to be in front of people.
Yeah.
Being in front of people is really scary for me. And I would just have to like, I couldn't like, it didn't matter if there's 5 people or like, 500 people. To look out and see people watching you is like, for me, it was like, oh, so I couldn't make eye contact with people. I had to look like past everyone because I'd just get nervous.
Yeah, I felt the same way. The smaller the crowd, it was harder to play.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt.
I had this conversation with my daughter yesterday. She was talking about they were in their youth group. She's 16. She had to do a small group and kind of speak in front of a few people, and it was nervous, about talking in front of people. And I think I told her I specifically remember being more nervous when there was a small crowd, like truly nervous because you could see every face and see every eye. When it's a big crowd, it feels like just a mass of people.
Yeah.
And there's more like a nervous energy, I think, when it was a big crowd. But I was definitely more nervous playing in front of like 24 people, which was most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember there were shows where, because a lot of times I would play, if you're in the audience looking at the stage, I would be on the left. That was just kind of where I always landed. And you, Chris, you were always on the right, and we would put Ben in the middle.
You're right. I was always right. Good.
Yeah, you were always right. But I just remember several times, like, I just could not make myself look to the right of me at those people on the side of the stage. I just couldn't look over there. It wasn't always that way, but I remember like at least once for sure. I was like, I can't look over there. The whole show, I was like, I'm not looking over there. That always made me think too of remember that band, the Goodbye Letter?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did it because they were nervous, but I remember Chris Tucci, he always, I think Cool Hand Luke did it too, but they would play with their back to the audience sometimes.
A lot of bands did that though. Like that was like, I think some guys like Chris and Cool Hand Luke, those guys, like they did it. It wasn't like intentional.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
I think a lot of bands picked up on stuff like that. And like, that was the thing. Like, they just played like facing their amps.
Yeah. See, I didn't know you could do that because I would have done that from the beginning.
I think I did that quite a bit, actually.
It's like, you can do
but
that?
But also, my nervousness was directly related to the height of the stage for some reason, too. Higher stage made me nervous. Like being at Slacker in front of a fewer people, but being on the floor with them was not nervous. But if you're 3 feet high and everybody else is down there, for some reason, that was extra nerve-wracking.
I always love shows that and it's the first real show. I'll say real show. Like I did some stuff when I was in high school, but like the first time I played a show that was away from anything familiar was in Gainesville when I lived there, and I played the Hardback. And the Hardback is like it was a small venue, but it kind of had like this reputation. Like Green Day played there, and Sublime used to play there, and like Hot Water Music played there a lot. And I always loved. Like you're just on floor level, like you're just eye to eye with everyone.
Yeah.
And then, like obviously when you play bigger shows, you're like kind of elevated. And yeah, that always made me nervous too. The higher the stage, the more I was like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. So you ever had those
like the arc right there too, huh?
Yeah, that's it. So this is the it's the merch table. There's Ben behind the merch table. Let's see.
It's like Joel to his left.
Man, who's that guy on the phone? Always on the phone.
Man, if anyone could see that's what a phone used to be.
Was VHS video quality just that bad, or does it degrade over the years and look horrible now? Anytime I ever see video from back then, it just looks like horrible, horrible video.
I think it is just because it's VHS tape, but
probably a little bit both.
It could have been to the VCR or whatever I had. This has been years since I've converted this, so could just be that VCR that I used back then.
So this is the upstairs of the Ark, And when they'd be like, "Yeah, just eat whatever you want," they had like a whole milkshake stand and candy and. Maybe a small tangent, but it was something to like all the traveling that we did and everything we got to see. I mean, oh, it's Chris. Even like the little bit of like, we didn't go like all over the world, but even our little bit of traveling is more than a lot of people get to do in their life. And it's just pretty cool to think about. Like, we just travel around with very little concern over how we were going to live, like financially or eating is, kind of like not worrying about like birds, how they don't worry about what they're going to eat, or the flowers don't worry about what they're wearing. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool.
There was definitely a lot of growth, a time of a lot of growth, as a person, but I think even spiritually, a lot of time we had in the van to spend, you got nothing else to do. I think looking back, I spent more time, reading my Bible and praying when we were in the van, and even in just the conversations, the all night drives, deep conversations about anything and everything. There's just, you don't get to do that if you're not stuck in a van for 6 hours, So it's good stuff.
That's a good point too. Like, I mean, think about like now, what do bands do now if they're traveling like that? I mean, everyone's got a phone. They're not engaging with each other. I don't know. I'm just like speculating. I see how kids are. But like we didn't have that. Like we actually had to have conversations and you talk about everything under the sun and beyond.
Yeah.
And then also like, just the daily prayer with a bunch of dudes who were not blood family, but like, I mean, how often, do you go day after day after day praying with, people who aren't your kids or your spouse or something,
Right.
So like how often you go to work and be like, all right, guys, let's pray.
Right.
Like that's pretty.
And there was more sincerity to it. Even if you do that at work, that's a little different situation because we were getting up and saying, okay, we need to survive this day together. You know what I mean? Let's have a prayer that we make it alive through this day together. A little different situation.
Yeah. I do feel, oh man, it's because most people don't get to go through what we went through, even though, I mean, I know we didn't make it, where we're these huge, just traveling all over the world and huge tour bus like that. But I think to me, I think we had it better than that in a sense. The level that we toured, we talked to everybody at the show.
Yeah.
Every single person that wanted to talk, we talked to everybody. We made friends all over the country, and we got to know each other really good. And I mean, we make fun of that one song because the what is it? Peace of Mind. It's one of the last songs that we just kind of wrote and everything. But I always think about that line in there. It says, if had a second chance to do it all again, I wouldn't think twice about it. And I remember when we wrote that and recorded that, I remember thinking, yeah, in 20 years, like that's gonna have it's gonna mean something to me, And I just kind of just knew as we were doing that it would, and it does. I mean, it's what we did, and I don't know if we actually made a difference anywhere to anybody else or anything like that, but there's a few letters maybe we'll find and kind of go through too, maybe at some point, but I don't know if we really made any kind of impact out there to anybody, but maybe it wasn't about that. Maybe it was just about, I don't know, just doing what we did and having fun, and maybe there doesn't have to be a bigger meaning to it. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't. If I had to go back, I would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe close to the same. Maybe.
I mean, you think about it, it's been 20 years, right?
Maybe instead of $5 per diem a day, maybe $6 or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Eat a little bit better. Maybe.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
But like, how many years have we gone? Like, you guys get to see each other a lot, but I mean, over 25 years, I've only lived in the same location as you guys for like 2 of those years, but we've all we still maintain contact. We still talk. We can still,
Yeah.
Communicate just like when we were on the road, like and goof off and say stupid stuff and have fun, and like the friendship and like the brotherhood that touring built, especially how it was all born too, though. Like we were talking in the last episode, was like, okay, so we first talked in June, then we started playing shows in August, we recorded, and then we just hit the road and we did everything and anything we could for no money and little sleep. And it's like I think Ted Cookerly told me one time, because when I was struggling, when I was trying to reform Grotto into what we put together, he's like, man, sometimes it just takes time to find family. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's kind of cheesy, but I mean, he was absolutely right. It's like, like we've all argued and disagreed with each other and had to walk away, but then came back and was like, all right, we're cool. Like compromised and now we're cool. That's pretty awesome.
And really, and not even, true. And really, we didn't have a lot of falling outs, honestly. I mean, no. And if we did, it was just about where we were going to eat, stuff like that.
Options were limited at $5 a day. So,
or who was going to drive or something.
The timing of everything was so right. God had to have a hand in how things got put together, but the timing of how we all came together and how we, the tours and having Donna be able to book us the way she did and all the things that kind of fell into place. But even the timing of the years that this went, you're talking about 2000, 2001. It wasn't we were just barely into the age of the internet, where we had the world was getting smaller, and it enabled us to go and play more and communicate with more people and keep in touch with more people. But at the same time, we were at the cusp of it that we didn't have, like you said, if a band goes on tour today, they've got, in the van, you have access to everything, where we didn't. We were talking, David and I were talking, when we first started touring with Crom Donuts, we didn't have a cell phone. We had a printed piece of paper map, out there like a pirate trying to find, the next spot. But the timing of that in music-wise, music today is so much different. Like bands, it'll never be like it was the way we had it. Bands today don't have it the way we had it, whether that's better or worse. And what we had was different.
It was better. It was better then, for sure.
I think
in the 80s were totally different than what we had.
Yeah,
we had a small window, and I felt like it was kind of a sweet spot where those years were good for what we did. Small touring. That it wouldn't have worked 20 years earlier, and it probably wouldn't work today exactly the same.
Yeah,
I agree.
It was
no, I do think our time was better, and obviously being biased, right? We're older, but it was just like that. It was more of like an adventure. Like you had no way to look at a computer and see what's around the corner. Like you just had to go and find out in real time. Like
it was neat too. There was a lot of we knew a lot of bands that were at the same level as what we were at, and we were in. Every once in a while, you'd hear of a band that kind of moved up a notch or went on out, and did some bigger things. And it wasn't a jealousy thing. You were just glad that hey, somebody, good for them, And but at the same time, we weren't really thinking like, when's it going to be our turn? We wasn't thinking that way. We were just having fun and knowing that it could end. So we were just having the most fun we could have.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, we thought we wanted to be as big as we could possibly be and make it as big as it can get, as quick as we can get there, and be the next big thing. But especially looking back on it, I feel like we were in kind of the zone we needed to be in. The size of the shows and the amount of traveling, the amount that we took on, was perfect for what we did at the time, and almost by design, that it was the size and the scope of everything was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
I've looked back on it, and I've thought several times, things could have gone a bunch of different ways, but I don't have any, regrets about anything that we did or went through or did or didn't do, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. this trip that we're talking about right here too. I remember a lot of this one. This is when we went up through North Dakota, then out to Montana and all that. And I remember some drives and like just taking some back roads to cut across places. And
Oh yeah,
I remember just being like, man, this is so awesome. Like I had never seen the Pacific Northwest. And but yeah, we'll get to that when we get down through these shows. So we're at Zoo Fest at Asbury. Cincinnati was next.
Then Cincinnati.
Now, we played Cincinnati quite a bit. In Cincinnati, we had really good shows. I don't remember which venue this is, though. Tri-County, was that AG, Assembly of God or something?
Is Cincinnati the one with the funeral home?
No, that's Columbus.
That's Columbus?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was Ohio. Yes, Tri-County AG. I don't remember that.
It is a school. The underground was. It had a school kind of. Man, you know what? That was so hard to remember for sure. But the lady that ran that venue, was it tied to a school?
That's what I'm wondering. There was one that was a
But
church that had a school that had like a gym area that had mats on the floor, and that's where we're.
Yeah,
It's on that video.
that though was in
I remember
Indiana.
that, but I don't know. Yeah, where was that one at?
That was in Indiana.
Okay, I was going to say I don't think that was Cincinnati.
And Tim was on tour with us on that too.
Okay.
But this, I'm pretty sure, was the underground, even though it says Assemblies of God or AG. I'm thinking that may be wrong, but there is because we have a little bit of video of pulling up to this venue, and I'm pretty sure it was that same tour.
Yeah,
that's why I'm kind of leaning that way. But the underground was a really nice venue there in Cincinnati. I know we played there a few times, but we did stay at a school there, if I remember right, Ben. But I don't know if that was with Chris or not.
Weird to me how many schools, because I'm thinking of schools, and there's like I can think of several schools that we've stayed at. Like weird to be spend the night in a school. That's strange, but we did a lot.
So this is that church we were talking about in that other slide. The
Powerhouse?
Yeah, Powerhouse. This is Powerhouse.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. I totally remember that one now.
And then, is that Rod Laver?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
That was you. What are you talking about?
Yes. So after Powerhouse, it was Zoo Fest, then Cincinnati. So, hey, we do have a video of Ben driving. Wow.
Look at that. Proof. Video evidence that I drove the van. Take that.
Yeah, but that's when it was on the tow truck trailer, and you're just.
Ooh, watch out for that truck.
All right, let's see. So that was the first part of that, and then here's the second part. Let's see. Where is this at?
What?
Okay, this is.
Was that the college?
Yeah, this is the loading. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah. All being stupid.
Man, you don't look a day over 40 in that one. There's Eustis right there.
Eustis, yeah.
So this is at Asbury right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Asbury? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Asbury.
I think it said Ashbury on the thing. Okay. So right now, we're not really recording any video. We're just recording audio with this. But I wouldn't mind maybe later we could kind of come back through some of these videos, at least the highlights of the videos, and just talk about them. That'd be fun. Look at Chris representing Screaming Giant Records.
Gosh, I don't remember not having a beard.
Is that Brendan Fraser? So this bass that we're looking for, that Ben said he would definitely write an album and tour if we found that bass. What kind of bass was that? It was a P bass, right?
Not the kind. It's not the kind that you have to find. It's the bass.
I don't know. You didn't specify that. You can't come changing the rules after the fact.
It had Matt's custom paint job. It had car paint. Matt painted it at the body shop. It had custom pick guard, custom knobs. Yeah, it was all tricked out.
But it was a Fender P bass, not a Squire, but Fender P bass.
JP90.
JP90.
JP90. 1990.
Is that American made?
And precision pickup. It's got its own pick guard style that no other Fender has.
Was that an American made guitar or?
It's American. Yep.
Okay.
Well, the only other one I ever saw besides mine was the one that Matt Goldman had in the studio. He had a white one. It's the only two I've ever seen of those JP90s.
Okay.
They're not. I mean, you can look them up. They're not like expensive. It was just a.
So how much are they? I mean, Chris, we might could just pull together and get Ben a bass.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I mean, I see them all the way from like $600 to $1,600.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we could strip the paint off of it and have Matt paint you one again.
Yeah.
All right. This is all being recorded.
See how it's got the.
It's all coming together.
See, mine had chrome knobs.
Yeah, that seems normal. Okay, all right. Yeah. Are you going to go talk to Joni now, or are you going to wait and give it another week or so?
Oh, she listens to the podcast, so we'll keep this part in just so she can find out.
Yeah, Ben has agreed to go back on tour.
Full time.
Well,
yes.
I mean, you can bring your laptop with you, so you can still do your job on the road.
We could chop that per diem down, for food. You bring you a little more money in your pocket on your way back.
Yeah.
Would be like
$3 a day. Like I don't even know they have dollar menus anymore. It's probably like a $5 menu.
Man.
Yeah, this will be good, Ben. This will be a good time.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
Waffle House, Goodwill, and maybe like a pharmacy, like a CVS or something.
Walgreens. There's probably more Walgreens.
You need that
Walgreens
for playing Waffle Houses. I'm sure they'll give you some hash browns or something every night.
I think if you agree to bust the tables, you can get a free meal. So. All right.
Best year ever.